Pickin' with a piner, pickin' with a piner, pickin' with a piner, come pine along with me. Pickin' with a piner, pickin' with a piner, pickin' with a piner, come pine along with me. Hey there, world. This is Pickin' with a Piner. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Welcome to episode 7. I can hardly believe that we've been doing this for 7 weeks now, and it's been fun. Every week we've had somebody new and interesting, and we've had a good time just talking with them about their musical process. If you're tuning in for the first time and you're asking yourself, what in the world is Picking with a Piner? Well, Picking with a Piner is an opportunity to gather together in an old-fashioned porch picking style where we share songs and stories, discuss our passions, influence, and deep dive into our individual songwriting processes. And so I want you to sit back, listen in, pop open a bottle of suds or a fancy glass of wine and enjoy. Because tonight we have a really, really special guest. He's a singer-songwriter and bluesman, originally from Suffolk, Virginia. He currently hails from Richmond. He's got a sound that keeps one ear in the past and another in the present, with an honest lyrics and vocals that are both sweet and smooth like molasses. Please, everybody, help in welcoming Mr. Justin Golden to the show tonight. Hey, Justin.
How's it going?
Good, man. We really, really appreciate you being here tonight. I just want to announce, you can find Justin's music online and follow him on Instagram at Justin Golden Music, or at Facebook at Justin Golden Music. Go like his band page, show some support. Justin, really, really glad to have you on the show tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We got a little bit of a weird microphone thing happening. I don't know where or how that happened, but all of a sudden you've got a little bit of a microphone thing. But we're happy to have you. I don't know what's going on with your audio. We were just good. We were literally just talking.
I haven't changed anything.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. So hang on one second. I'm gonna try to do something here, and go ahead and talk for me, Justin.
How's that?
Nope. Still the same. I don't know what the heck happened, man. We practiced this, everyone. I hope you know this was not something that we did not practice. So anyway, we'll figure it out as we go. But thanks for being here, Justin. Sonia, thanks for saying hi. Sonia's been watching us every week, and thanks for tuning in, and everybody out there listening. I really, really appreciate it. Justin and I, we met about a year ago. I was putting together the River City Review and wanted to expand the genres of music that we were bringing in, because I really wanted it to be something, that was Americana, and not just stuck to like something that sounded country. I really, really wanted to have a blues player, and you can't know about blues players in Richmond and not know Justin. Hey, what's up, people? Corey Williams, hey, what's up? Good to see you. Lori Golden's watching.
Hey, Mom.
Is that your mom?
Yeah.
And then Anthony Martinez is also watching. Anthony's a good buddy of mine. Hey, Justin, we might have to have you log out and log back in. Follow the link again. Okay. I don't know what's going on. You sound like a robot. Try that for me real quick, okay? While Justin's gone, I'm going to give you a little bit of info about Justin. Justin, you can find him playing all around the Richmond area when we're not under the hard times that we're under right now. He plays with everyone, and he's a frequent opener for a lot of bands in Richmond. And he's an excellent blues player. I'm adding him back to this. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. How's it sound?
Still the same thing, man. You might.
Gosh.
I don't know if it's your headphones or what's going on there. Well, bear with us, everyone, as we try to figure out what just happened here, because I promise you we were doing fine a second ago. I don't know what Justin changed right before we started.
All right, unplugged my headphones. How's that? Any better?
I don't know what's going on here, Justin. Hang on, everybody. Sorry. So I'm trying to think of what we should do right now until we figure out this. This is live, so it's hard to it's hard to make adjustments while we're going. But appreciate y'all listening in and watching. We've got Justin Golden with us tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about his influences, how he got started, where he basically got involved in the Richmond music scene. All that's going to be talked about and discussed tonight. We will get into that in a very, very momentarily. So thanks to everyone that's tuned in right now. Okay, so everybody said they can hear you. I don't know if it's me then, Justin. Go ahead and talk again.
How's that?
I can't hear Justin now. I don't know what happened here.
No? Nothing?
Okay, so they're saying, Justin, you sound good on their side. So I don't know if it's on my side.
No.
All right, I don't know what we did now.
We're sounding good now?
It sounds good with your headphones. Can you try to talk again, Justin?
Yeah. How's it sound? Cool?
Can everybody hear Justin? Because I can't hear him.
We got one saying they can hear me. Okay.
Great. Okay, so wait, they can hear you, but I can't hear you. So what in the heck is going on? Justin, they're hearing you. It sounds like we're having a streaming issue here. This is the new world.
Can you hear me now, Woody? Is it sounding?
Hello, can you hear me? Everybody can hear me.
Cool. No?
Can you hear me, Justin?
I can hear you.
I can't hear anything. I don't know what the heck happened.
We were just good. I don't know.
Of course,
Lord.
This is what's happening right now.
This is what happens when you do it live. Any better?
All I'm hearing is pops and clicks.
No. Still nothing.
Check.
Check.
Both are loud and clear. Okay, so this is going to be a weird conversation. I have no idea what to do at this point. Justin and I people can hear us, but I can't hear you. So if people can hear you, great. That's a good thing.
Wow.
Let me announce tonight, if we can get this damn thing off the road, I promise you it's going to be a good night. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, Justin and I have decided to donate. If you feel led to tip us, then please feel free to tip to my PayPal and my Venmo account. And immediately after this, we're going to donate everything that gets tipped to a little small business on the south side of the town. It's a barbecue joint called the Pits Barbecue Joint. It's a really great place that's very forgiving and wonderful to local musicians. And many musicians frequent there and play shows there. So if you feel led, please tip me, and then I'm going to make sure every donation tonight goes to that. So still trying to figure out. So hey, Justin, since everybody can hear you,
yeah,
and I don't, and I can't really figure out what to do at this moment because I can't hear you. Would you mind starting off with a song? Would you do a song for us? Since everybody can hear you, let's just start with a song because I don't. Cool. This is the weirdest thing ever. But go ahead and start with a song for us.
This one's called Talking. Reading this right, maybe it's nothing, I might be wrong,
on my mind first thing in the morning. When it's just me and you, it feels like walking. I'll take a chance because I know that you're worth it. You're on my mind first thing in the morning. Let's work this out when no one is watching. You're on my mind first thing in the morning. The world disappears whenever we're talking. You're on my mind first thing in the morning.
That was beautiful. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're back. I'm good, man. That
Cool.
was me crapping my pants on live stream. If anybody was out there paying attention, I don't know what in the world happened. This is a weird world we live in. But thank y'all for sticking around.
Yeah.
And Justin, thank you for nailing that beautiful song. You
Awesome, man.
you got me out of the doghouse while I was trying to figure out what the hell was happening with my system here. It had to be on my end because once I had to hit shit and unplug shit, and then it started working again. So if I'm interested to watch this one on the playback to see the panic on my face.
That's the beauty of live performance, man.
There you go, man. Yeah, I've never had to improvise so much. Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks for being on the show. I'm glad I can hear you now, and that we don't have to communicate through text while I figure this thing out.
This is much better.
No, man. Well, I'm super happy to have you here. I'll have to edit that first 10 seconds, but thanks to everybody out there that was sending me notes. It was so helpful because I was in full panic. I didn't know what to do, but everybody was really forgiving and sharing information.
Yeah, this is the first time I've had to deal with like sound issues on like when I don't have an audience, you know.
Well, the crazy thing is right before we went live, you and I were talking, and everything was perfect. Yeah. So, all right, well, we're back. We're in. So thank you all, everybody, for tuning in, man. Justin's an amazing blues style player. I meant it when I say you've got one ear, or when you're listening to you, I've got one ear in the past and one ear in the present. And I was actually reading something from someone wrote about you online, and they said they were talking about how you got into blues music because you haven't always played blues.
Correct.
You found your way into that, and what I was reading is you actually started by basically looking and finding more modern music, and then the modern music kind of pointed you in that direction. And you have your own style. I wouldn't say you're fully a blues player. I mean, you do have that you got finger picking style. It's in your voice. I feel it when you're singing. It's very bluesy, but at the same time, it's also there's something fresh about it as well. So can you tell me a little bit about how you found the blues and how that became sort of a place where you started kind of finding your own niche? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I have only been playing guitar at this point about 10 years. So when I was, after my freshman year of college, picked up guitar, and right around that same time, I was just listening to all kinds of music. I was listening to grunge music. I was listening to all sorts of singer-songwriter stuff. And and just download whole discographies, and found my way into the Black Keys. And this was like 2008 or so, or something like that, 2009. And I was like, these guys really get it. Like, this is what I want to sound like if I were to play music. And then,
Yeah. Yeah. What was it about it that drew your attention? I mean, for me, when you say the Black Keys, I feel like the raw intensity. I mean, they were known for their like live show raw intensity, kind of like the White Stripes were, both of which were originally two-piece bands, and so there wasn't a whole lot of production around it, but it was just the raw emotion. And for me, that's what drew me there, and that's what draws me to the blues is the raw emotion that the blues captures.
yeah, I think that was the big thing. The way it was recorded, their first album specifically, that's really the one I would say is like the biggest blues album, the big come up. It sounds like it was recorded in a basement or like on someone's front porch, but with electric guitars.
Yeah.
And they have like a few different like traditional blues songs on there. So
Right. Reminiscing of the past, and then that's part of blues anyway. I mean, a lot of the early blues players, they were reusing each other's songs, and
exactly.
you might hear a Howling Wolf version of one song and a Muddy Waters version of another song, and a lot of those songs were just passed around. But that is folk music. That's traditional folk music.
Exactly.
And I want to talk more about traditional blues, but I don't want to do that right yet. I still want to talk about how you kind of came into the blues. So you found the Black Keys, and then what was the next step after that?
The next step is really I was just playing guitar. I knew I wanted to play blues, but it took me a long time to be able to play it. To be able to play like anything like I do now. And somewhere along the way, I stumbled into like Taj Mahal songs.
Yeah.
And Taj Mahal is a lot like he's done a lot of traditional blues stuff, but he's also kind of like a world musician. He does so much different music. And
yeah, he's super creative.
Really,
I love Taj Mahal. Yeah, I listen to a lot of Taj Mahal. My favorite album, of course, is I believe it's just a self-titled, the one where he's sitting in front of the big White House. Is that just the self-titled Taj Mahal?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a great one.
Yeah, that's where I first met Taj Mahal. But you're right, he just kind of takes wherever the song takes him, he kind of goes with it. What other influences blues wise? I mean, Taj Mahal. I even read you mentioned Taj Mahal. Is that your favorite, or is there other blues players that you're drawn to?
I think he was the first to give me to really open the door, because that got me from like the 2000s to the early 60s. Okay.
Yeah.
But most of what I listen to now, my biggest influences now, were in the 20s and 30s. And what he was doing was covering songs or like updating songs from the 20s and 30s and 40s in the 60s with like a different scope of vision. So like now I would say my biggest influences are probably Leroy Carr or like Blind Willie Johnson, old school guys like that from the 20s.
Right on. Yeah, that it's so crazy how they even captured those recordings back then. To me, knowing all that goes into this, and as you all watch this recording crash and burn at the beginning, it's amazing to me that those old blues players were essentially just, it was the guitar and the mic and them, and that's what you get. So when I listen to like Blind Lemon Jefferson, Charlie Poole records, when you're hearing a lot of this early American style blues music, it's amazing to me that they were even able to capture that.
Definitely.
Well, no, I love Taj Mahal, and so did the Allman Brothers. And we wouldn't really have that slide guitar sound that Dwayne had. Was it? Yeah, Dwayne.
Yeah.
He actually, there's a story behind that. He actually broke his arm, and he was actually horseback riding, I think, with Greg. And Greg, he was kind of mad at Greg because he fell off and broke his arm and couldn't play guitar, so he's laid up. And Greg brought him two things. One was a bottle of pills, because pills back then weren't in a plastic bottle. They came in a glass bottle. And he brought him a Taj Mahal record. And apparently by the time Greg came back to visit him, he had already figured out the slide guitar, and in all of the songs on Taj Mahal record, and then
Yeah.
they actually cut a bunch of those songs later.
They did like Statesboro Blues.
Statesboro Blues,
Yeah.
that's the biggest one everybody knows.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, man, I want to hear more about your influence on the blues, but before we do that, let's or where you get your influence from. You ready to play one more song?
Sure.
I'm kind of changing the vibe a little bit. Usually you play a song, I play a song, but tonight I want to give you an opportunity to play another song since you helped me out while I figured out all the audio challenges. So go ahead and play if you want another song for us.
Yeah, definitely.
It can be a cover, it can be something you wrote, and feel free to introduce it to the folks.
Speaking of Taj, can do Fishin' Blues, which I actually haven't played in a while because I haven't performed in several months now. But
Hey, same here, brother. We're forcing each other to do this, so it's good. And people are gonna love it regardless.
yeah, definitely, it's one of my favorites. Shout out to I saw Dakota John up there. Shout out to LJ. He's a crazy blues picker himself.
Yeah, hey LJ, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for everyone that's listening right now. This is the Justin Golden from Richmond, Virginia. He's going to play a song for us. So listen in. This is Pickin with a Piner.
Cool. This one's called Fishin' Blues. Bet you're going fishing all the time. My baby's going fishing too. Bet your life, your sweet wife, she gonna catch more fish than you. Many fish bites if you got the bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. Many fish bites if you got good bait. I'm going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby going fishing too. I went on down to my favorite fishing hole. Baby, grab me a pole and line. Pulled my pole on and caught a 9-pound catfish. Now you, I brought him home for supper time. Proving many fish bites if you got the bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. Many fish bites if you got good bait. I'm going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby going fishing too. Baby brother about to run me out of my mind. Say, can I go fishing with you? So I took him down to the fishing hole. And what do you think that he did do? Pull a great big fish out the bottom of the pond. He laughed and jumped cause he was real gone. Many fish bites if you got good bait. I'm going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby going fishing too. I bet you're going fishing all the time. My baby's going fishing too. Bet your life, your sweet wife, she gonna catch more fish than you. Many fish bites if you got the bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. Many fish bites if you got good bait. I'm going fishing, mama's going fishing. My baby going fishing too. Thank you.
That was beautiful, man. You can't hear them, but everybody's clapping right now, I can assure you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it feels good probably to knock the dust off of it, huh?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I played that one.
Yeah, and the pressure's on in the live environment, but it's it certainly it feels good though. It felt right. Thank you for sharing that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. It's crazy for me how much blues music influences most of the things I love as well. Um, and it's hard to talk about the blues without talking about how influential and how monumental the blues is, was, will always be, and not just American music, but in world music.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, you can't talk about the blues without talking about its roots and where it comes from and how it evolved and where it where it's rooted in a lot of pain. It's rooted in a lot of African American history, and you don't have the blues without African American culture. Bottom line, period. Up front, you don't have rock and roll without the blues. And so that being said, it's just this beautiful art form where it's this mix of like a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, but done so in a way that is refreshing to hear. Like when you play that song, it was just taking me on a journey. I mean, I was envisioning somebody sitting by a river pond or whatever, fishing, and it and there's some heartache in there. There's a little bit of heartache in there as well. So you know, being that you're reaching back into this art form, how does that affect you individually in your walk as an artist? I mean, because I reach back a lot. I reach back a lot to like bluegrass music, traditional country music and stuff. So how does your reach back into traditional blues? How does that affect your writing or you as an artist?
Well, it affects me in a lot of different ways. Over the last couple of years, I got really into gospel blues, which is not something I perform a lot. But it really, it's leaking into my writing, and just like we said earlier, how different artists will, like the blues will evolve, like many people will take the same song or parts of the same song, and it just gets added to the dialect, to the dialogue of that art form. There are different lines you see pop up all the time in blues songs, and like you kind of know how it's gonna resolve, and I think that's kind of cool. And little things like that. I'm trying to bring back some older lines of really obscure stuff that just happens to have fallen out of use, and I don't always try to do like straight 12 bars or 8 bars, but try to like have it feel like that, but not actually be a 12 bar, because it's a little bit predictable sometimes,
Sure.
But I think that's the art form evolving. That's what the blues looks like in 2020 and not 1920.
Yeah, but there's an homage that you're paying, a tribute that you're paying, and I think that's really amazing to get the sense of the tradition, and evolving it into a modern listener, right? Because what you're doing is going to influence someone to ask, well, hey, where did that song come from? That was a Taj Mahal song. I'm gonna go listen to Taj Mahal. I'm gonna go back and listen to Lightning Hopkins. I'm gonna go back and listen to Howling Wolf. I'm gonna go back and listen to Muddy Waters. I'm gonna go back and listen to all these really, really influential artists that might not be on the ear of a listener today. But it's cool how music evolves in that way.
Yeah, the other thing is that, and I struggled with this as trying to be a blues artist. I struggle with, a lot of people have like a lot of blues players have shared songs, and I didn't have those because I got to the blues so late.
Yeah.
But people still called it blues. People classified it as blues, and it took me a while to realize that, like, just because it's not a 12 bar or 8 bar, a blues, the form is not a blues, doesn't mean it's not a blues song, like the blues and a blues are two different things.
Yeah, it's interesting how we try to classify, things and build requirements around art. The same thing is done with bluegrass music. Early traditionalists, rock and roll players, if it ain't got that rock and roll swing to it, it's not rock and roll.
Yeah.
And so I think we're constantly trying to contain music in realms, but I don't think you can contain art. I think it's always going to grow into something else. But that was cool. Thank you for sharing that. If you don't mind, I'm gonna play a tune real quick. It's a song by Townes Van Zandt. It's called Rex's Blues. But he wrote this song. Townes Van Zandt, first and foremost, was a huge Lightning Hopkins fan. He would follow Lightning Hopkins around, carry his guitar if he found, was near. But this one's called Rex's Blues. We'll ride the blue wind high and free. She'll lead you down through misery. Leave you low, come time to go. Alone and low as low could be. Well, if I had a nickel, I'd find a game. If I won $1, I'd make it rain. If it rained an ocean, I'd make it right. Lay me down dissatisfied. Legs to walk and thoughts to fly, eyes to laugh and lips to cry, a reckless tongue to pacify, born to grow and grown to die. Well, tell my baby I said so long. Tell my mama I did no wrong. Tell my brother to watch his own. Tell my friends to mourn me none. We'll ride the blue wind high and free. She'll lead you down through misery. Leave me low come time to go. Alone and low as low can be. Alone and low as low can be.
That was beautiful, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's a Townes' attempt to sound like Lightning Hopkins.
I like it.
But anyway, no, that's one of my favorite Townes songs called Rex's Blues. But yeah, man. So let's talk a little bit more about like the early blues, because that's where I've been digging in a lot to early blues music. I told you, I'm a fan of the blues for sure. I try not to play the blues. As a white man, it's hard to play the blues. But I really love the blues. I love what blues music brought to other genres of music that I love, like country music, and what the blues did for rock and roll. And the music that I play today is very much because of the clashing of cultures in the South, with gospel, bluegrass, blues music, and R&B music all clashing together to become what is this, rock and roll. And then for me, later alternative country music. So, but I spent like 2 to 3 months just researching all I could, trying to dig into where things came. I took that rabbit hole down into blues, and what you find out if you dig into blues music, the holes go everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find one particular spot. But there are definitely people that you should know if you're listening to blues music. There are folks that change the game for a lot, and we talked about some of them. I would say Muddy Waters is another. Howling Wolf, I mentioned him already, but I think he's one at the top. Some people don't. I don't know if they give her the credit as being a blues player, because she was certainly gospel, but Sister Rosetta, I would say, is one of those names you should definitely know. Son House and Leadbelly are other names that you should definitely know if you're wanting to know more about blues music. How do any of those people that I just mentioned? I mean, when you did your research, did any of that research take you to those folks?
Later on, so I skipped from that's all from like the 40s and 50s, majority of those, and then some of them have later careers too. A lot of them got their starts in the 30s, but they got really famous in the 40s and 50s. Like Elmore James is another one.
Yeah.
So I skipped from like the 60s all the way back to the 20s, and that's really where I spend most of my time in that acoustic blues period.
Gotcha.
And then I have a deep appreciation and really getting into like Howlin' Wolf recently. I've listened to all this stuff before, but for some reason that album, Moaning at Midnight, is really just, I don't know. I shared one of his songs the other day, How Many More Years, because it's so applicable to like this whole thing.
Yeah. And it's funny. I think when they released that one, Moaning at Midnight, they actually they titled it something different because they were afraid of what people might think when they released the record. So originally it was actually titled and distributed as another title. It was like Morning at Midnight or something like that. But they didn't want to. I guess the moaning was too sexual.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, it was. Well, I told you. So this is a good talking point. So I told Justin earlier I've been reading a book on Sam Phillips, and it's his biography. So if you're interested in reading and taking some time during the pandemic, this is a great biography to read. I am only this far into it, and I still have a long way to go. But I've gotten through a period where actually Sam Phillips was one of the first people to actually record Howlin' Wolf, which is extremely interesting. And then later, he ended up moving up to Chicago and staying in Chicago and continuing his relationship with Chess Records. But anyway, so it's interesting to get a little bit more info about Howlin' Wolf. And the funny thing is about this is the biography about Sam Phillips. You don't have a biography about Sam Phillips if you're not talking about all the people he worked with. So you get a lot of information about that. So that's just a plug on a book that I'm reading. And it just so happens the section I've been reading is on Howlin' Wolf, and that's the only reason I know that fact about moaning at midnight.
Yeah, that is very applicable. I definitely never heard that before, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, so what was it like? So you grew up in Suffolk, Virginia. What was it like growing up in Suffolk? I know that region, that Tidewater, area. What was that like growing up for you in that area? And then when did you get into music?
It was awesome growing up there. I really, some people say it's too country, but that was perfect for me. That song "Fishin' Blues" is also perfect because I love going fishing. So I spent a lot of time fishing some of the lakes out there, and running around and just living in the country. It wasn't super country, but it was close enough.
Right. Well, that was one of my questions for you. I was going to get to that later about fishing, but we can go ahead and talk about that now. So I know you're a huge fan of fishing, and the James River must be nice, being that that's there. But there's other stuff around the Richmond area. With fishing, how does that help? I mean, I know that's a form of like release. Like I know a lot of buddies of mine go fishing. It's just kind of like take your mind off of things. Do you write any songs while you're out there fishing?
Not recently. Most of the time I spend just trying to just kind of zen out, and it's a little bit of my release to go hang out outside, especially now that, Corona has us cooped up majority of the time. At least I know that if I find a little slice of water, I can cast out for a couple hours and enjoy the outdoors, see something pretty, down the river. They have like the ospreys and the blue herons are huge out there. So.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Well, that area of Virginia is really beautiful too, down where you grew up. It's a lower lying land, but it's certainly beautiful there. If you've never been to that area, I'd recommend going there. Is your family from that area, or did you move there, or how did you end up in Suffolk? Oh, you moved there.
Yeah, we moved there. My dad's family is from Mississippi, like the Delta region, and so he moved. He's in the Navy, so that's how he got over here. And my mom grew up in Jersey. Our family's mostly from Ohio and Kentucky. So just kind of ended up here somehow.
Yeah, well, that's cool though, man. That's a conglomerate of different places. That I'm sure if you still have family members in those places, they all kind of come together and make you a little bit of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So what brought you to the Richmond area? I mean, you grew up in Suffolk. Did you go to high school there, and
Yeah.
then did you go to school at VCU?
I went to school at Longwood.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What year did you go to Longwood?
08 to 13. So.
Yeah, well, you just missed. I was at Farmville for a different school in Farmville. And I graduated in 2006.
Okay.
So that tells everybody my age. The gray hairs don't come from nothing. But
yeah, I started playing music after my freshman year, and then around 2013 or 14, probably 2014, started hearing about like Richmond scene, and like I knew that like Jay Roddy was out here.
Yeah.
And I was like a huge fan of him at the time, or I
Wow.
still am.
Yeah.
I was like, well, he hangs out in bars sometimes. Like,
yeah, I run
cool
into
to,
him.
like-
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, wow, that's that guy. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a nice guy. Always been kind to me when I've talked to him.
Mhm.
He could just kick me to curve and just
Yeah.
say, hey, man, who the hell are you? But no,
He's
he's
great.
always been very nice.
Shout out to
dude.
Rod.
Yeah, shout out. So you went to school at Longwood. You playing guitar, and then you start shopping around the music scene here, and I guess you landed a job here in town.
Yeah. Well, I kind of moved out here. It was kind of like two-sided. I was doing archaeology at the time, 2014, and around that time I decided to play music, and
Yeah.
my job that I've been working at from like 2014 to 2015, 16 was based out of Midlothian, and the drive from Farmville was just killing me. We had to be there at 6 in the morning,
Oh yeah.
an hour drive.
I remember that drive, but I would once you get to right before you get to Midlothian, sort of the Powhatan area, I would head north because I grew up in Hanover County, Virginia. So I would go west and then go north. Actually, opposite way. I'd go east coming from Farmville and then go north once I got to like Powhatan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how I ended up out here. So I had that job and then music at the same time. So I was like, well, here, it's a great spot to put to plant some roots,
Yeah, and you know what? I know Richmond's glad to have you. I mean, I think, you play with everyone. And it's. I don't think it's not funny to me. It's not ironic that the blues goes with everything, right? Because everything kind of comes out of that. So it makes sense that it all fits together. And I certainly enjoyed having you when we did the River City Review.
That was awesome.
I thought it was an awesome touch having you there, and I think the audience was captivated by your style and all of that goodness. So that was definitely a fun event. So you and I are very similar in the sense that if people looked at us and saw us, they know us as from the music that we do, but we also, you and I work, we have our careers, we're doing that, and then trying to do music at the same time. Essentially, it's just all hustle.
Yeah.
Right? Because we want to make records. Records cost money, and so we're constantly hustling to try to put enough aside to do that next record, to do that next
tour.
Yeah, to tour, to play out, to pay the band. And so we've got Mark Smith. Hey Mark, what's up, man? Thanks for watching. He's got us on the big screen. So while you're on the big screen, Justin, and we'll talk more a little bit about that lifestyle that you and I have chosen, where we're trying to hustle, make money, and make our music. But we'll do that after you play us a song, if you wouldn't mind. Can you play us another tune?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you all for listening. This is lucky number 7 episode with the Justin Golden, blues man from Richmond, Virginia. Justin actually teaches. Can you talk a little bit about the organization you teach with? I read that too about you online.
Well, I teach with a few different organizations.
Yeah.
Each summer I teach at the Augusta Heritage Festival Blues and Swing Week.
Yeah.
Or Blues Week. I've been doing that this has been my 4th year. And that's in Elkins, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Davis and Elkins College. So that's kind of how I really got tapped into this much larger blues scene. I'm also like in the middle of founding a local organization or local chapter of a organization started out of Seattle,
Oh, cool.
um, called the Rhapsody Project,
Okay.
and that is through people I met at Augusta.
Yeah.
That's been going on out there for I believe 8 years,
Oh, wow.
and they teach. They introduce children and young adults into the
That
blues
style.
and roots scene. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, very cool, very cool. Which I think is amazing, man. That's awesome that you do that. I mean, I read something along those lines, so I just wanted to give you a shout out there because I think
thank you.
that's an amazing thing to be able to take an art form like that and pass it down to others. And people might not know that about you. They might not know that you spend your time doing stuff like that. And I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I think. I
Yeah,
mean, this is supposed to be the blues and country music and bluegrass is
yeah,
supposed to be social music,
yeah, for
um,
sure.
and we got to rebuild that community in the blues scene.
Yeah.
So how do we
I'm
do it?
imagining right now that you and I are sitting on a porch somewhere with a bunch of people hanging out with us and we're drinking beers and we're just talking about what we love to do and getting to know each other and playing songs together. That's what Picking with a Pioneer is all about. So,
Yeah,
thanks for thanks for being on and carrying that tradition on with me.
thank you. Man.
So, yeah, so give us another tune, Justin. This is
Cool.
Justin Golden from Richmond, Virginia.
All right, this one's called "A Hey When She Calls." I hate when she calls. I hate when she calls. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I miss my baby. I love when she calls. I love when she calls. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I love my baby. I hate when she calls. I hate when she calls. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I miss my baby. I love when she calls. I love when she calls. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I love my baby. When my baby calls, we don't get along. Mm-hmm. But she's still my baby. I hate when she calls, but why won't she call? Mm-hmm. Is she still my baby? I hate when she calls. I hate when she calls. I hate when she calls. But why won't she call? I hate when she calls. Oh, why won't she call? I hate when she calls. But damn, I wish she'd call.
Awesome, man. Thank you, and thanks for listening in, folks that are listening. People are loving this, Justin. Thanks for sharing your music with everybody, man.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, I don't want people to forget. You'll see that thing scrolling across the bottom there. That's my PayPal and my Venmo account. We're doing a tip jar, but that tip jar doesn't go to me. You're just sending me the money. Justin and I are doing this tonight for the Pitts Barbecue Joint on South Side. I've frequented that spot and played that venue a couple of times. It's a cool outdoor patio in the summertime. It's a dive bar, but they have great barbecue. So this shout out to the Pitts. So whatever you donate tonight, Justin and I are going to give to the Pitts Barbecue. They haven't been able to open back up the way a lot of restaurants in the Richmond area or outside of Richmond have. So we want to just support them tonight in their time of need. So if you feel led, a couple dollars here and there, we're going to make sure that money gets donated to that organization. So thank you for listening in, and thanks for donating.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to do a song, Justin. I have some folks listening in, and one of my friends, Christy from high school, she plays and sings, and actually, let me tune here real quick, Justin. So, hang on one second. I'm going to mute for a second. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't want to tune in front of you. There's a feeling inside me, deep in my soul. There's a feeling I get that won't let me go. Like a drunkard to wine and a miner to gold. If I don't get to Nashville by morning, I might never know. This old music keeps calling and tugging at my soul. If I don't get to Nashville by morning, I might never know. Like a horse to water and a wishing well. The way light needs darkness and heaven needs hell. The way a man needs a woman and the traveler the road. If I don't get to Nashville by morning, I might never know. This old music keeps calling and tugging at my soul. If I don't get to Nashville by morning, I might never know. The way a farmer needs rain and a shiner needs shine. Well, I need you like a clock needs time. The way a train needs a rail, an old dog needs a bone. If I don't get to Nashville by morning, I might never know. This old music keeps calling and tugging at my soul. If I don't get to Nashville by morning, I might never know.
Ooh.
Right on. Yeah, when I hit that first note, something didn't sound right, and so apologies for tuning in front of everyone. If it were a show, I'd do the same thing. Stop everything. Make everybody wait on the lead singer. That's what my band is. They've gotten used to that. The other thing is starting the song the wrong way. I don't play through that. I usually stop at what we're doing. It drives my drummers crazy. But yeah, Christy, that was for you. Christy and I were talking this week. Christy's an amazing singer. And we were talking this week, and she gave me a shout-out about that song. So anyway, Christy, we played that song for you. Christy's a friend of mine from high school. But yeah, man, so let's talk a little bit more about where we left off with, you and I pursuing this music career. It's career. I don't know what that means. We're pursuing music, and that song that I just played, Nashville by Morning, was a song I wrote the night before I went to record in Bristol to put together my first record 2 years ago. And I was actually, thinking about, music as an entity. And the way it makes me feel, and so the whole song came out of personifying music and my love for it, and trying to put that into words and capture that drive to keep going, trying to do whatever it is we're doing, that calling. And so, I think we both kind of have similar callings in that sense. You write music, you play music, you're doing this, you've got a full-time job, you're doing this as well, and you've got that hustle game on real strong, the same way that I'm trying to do this thing too. Don't know where it's going. It might not go anywhere. It's a direction. And, we record and we write and we do all these things. We put all this energy into trying to create music. One, because we would probably go insane if we did not. Definitely. I don't know if you feel the same way. Is that a similar...
I feel that way when I have when I get the itch to write. Sometimes I'm like, I'll never write another song, I feel like. But then, something will happen, or I'll get inspired, and or I just need a release, and then I'm like, I would definitely go crazy if it wasn't for music.
Well, what causes that pursuit? I mean, something's driving that. I mean, yes, there's a passion there. Yes, there's, you wanting to pass on music to the next generation, which I think is all beautiful. But there's something inside you. There's something deep down that's causing you to work the 50 hours a week and then go gig 3 nights or whatever in a weekend. So what's in us that makes us think that way? I don't know. I was wondering if you had any insight there.
I don't know. I think we're just given something else, something different than other people.
Yeah.
All of us, all the musicians I know, are just some of the hardest working people.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work 3 jobs and try to do it, and I know plenty of my friends in Richmond and the other music scenes. They're waiting tables, they're busting, which most of them are, out of work right now and really struggling, and they kill themselves just so they can get up on a Thursday, Friday night and play a show, or pay for that merch, or pay for that, that next album, and it's like, why do we do this? What is that all about? And it's just the pursuit. I mean, I think it's the pursuit that is the calling. It's having a restless spirit. It's knowing that you have something inside of you that you want to share with other people. I mean, if it was just me doing this all the time, I would drive the people around me crazy because I'm constantly singing the same lyrics over and over again until I get it right. You know. Well, for you, Justin, what is your writing process like? We usually go into this at some point in the night, and what does that look like for you? Are you sounds like you wait till you get inspiration.
That's been the biggest one. Most of my songs have come out of that, or most songs I play have come out of that. In the last year or so, I've been really trying to. Hey, Laura.
Yeah, Laura, thanks for saying that.
She's great.
Laura listens in every week, and she's awesome, and that's amazing. Hi, Laura.
Yeah, it's. I'm trying to hone in or like refine my process over the past year because my goal coming into this year was to release a record. I would say all the songs are done, and probably a lot more than that. They're done in some form. Still, refining those and getting through third and fourth revisions and trying to find somewhere to be comfortable or feel inspired.
Yeah. But you do go through revisions. I mean, I do too. I mean, some people do. Some people we've had. Believe me, there's no one way of doing this, and we talk about this a lot. Some folks talk about revisions, which I do. I constantly revise projects. There are things I come back to, and I'll revise years later. But it sounds like, so you do have that that is built in your process, a process of revising.
Yeah, it depends on the song, though. Like some songs, the ones that come out of inspiration, I think they're just gifts, it's just a freebie,
Yeah.
And then I'd be open to revising them or open to hearing it different ways. But really, the way it comes out is typically the way it's played for a lot of my songs. Now, as I've been writing a lot more songs the past year, I'm really spending more time on like trying to get the words to sit just right. Like I like the content, but I don't like the melody or the words. I like the melody of the song or the instrument, but not the melody of the words.
It is amazing. It's amazing how the word will influence the melody sometimes, and then sometimes it's the melody, the musical melody that influences the word you choose.
Yeah.
It's like as a songwriter, you've got to be constantly scanning the environment, and you might start with a concept. Like, I'll give you an example. I started writing a song recently, and I have the plot in my head. The plot's there. I know where the song needs to go, but it's the little pieces in between to get the listener there without telling them too much of the story up front. It's like a good movie. Like you don't want to expose too much of the story up front, or you've ruined it. And then what I've learned listening to a lot of John Prine, especially this year, is and listening to interviews of other people and John Prine in particular, is trying to get the words to convey a feeling over just the meaning of the word. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like trying to take a word and use it to convey a certain feeling, as opposed to what the sentence actually means. So
he was the king of that. So.
Yeah, and I'm constantly trying to scan the environment to pick the right feeling.
I'm kind of a lot of times I try to be a little bit minimalist in my writing. Just try to say as much as possible with as few words.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of my writing style, and cause I just sometimes I feel like I could be one of those really wordy writers. Like John Prine has so many different words. If you look at look at a script of one of his songs, and it means so much. But at the same time, it's just as cool to mean so much and say way less.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what I generally do in my revisioning process. Is like once I have an idea down, I try to go back after I've revised, start revising and rethinking how I want to say this. Like, how can I say this in 5 words versus 3, or how many syllables do I have here? I mean, so there's a lot that goes into this, and I hope people understand that there's the, it's both art and science combining together into one thing. And it's the cadence, it's the melody, it's the beat. It's the technical music that goes along with it, and then there's technique that you apply to lyrical writing, and so it's some folks just it's beyond just writing a couple sentences and thinking you're done. There's a lot as songwriters we think about when we're going through this process. So, do you sit down with a pad and paper, or is it, do you use your phone, voice
Anything.
memos, anything? Yeah.
I've really been. So you gave us all these handy notebooks for the for the River
City Review. Yep.
Yeah, and I've been using that a lot.
Well,
trying to
damn,
write
man,
down.
I'm glad that came in handy.
Yeah, that was really like well timed because I was really writing a lot in the fall, so that was
Cool.
really like well timed. But
Yeah,
I write
that's
a
a
lot
good
on my
time.
notepad.
That's a good time of year to write too. In the
Yeah,
fall.
I think I write most of my songs that I end up playing in around November, like October, November,
Yeah.
for some reason. But I guess at the end of the year, you're like really looking back and like have that kind of sense of nostalgia. Yeah, perspective.
Yeah, you might also, it might just be like the shift in the earth too. I mean, it could be as deep as that. Just the right time of year. I mean, there are certain times throughout the year I hit ruts. I can't write to save my life. I don't want to write, but I force myself to. But I just, there's a lot of times where I write a lot of crap.
Yeah, and those times it's sometimes. So my process is probably the way it works out a lot of times is this, where I will always be like writing notes, just words, because I think that's a cool turn of phrase, but it has no melody or music associated to it, and I just have a long list of those for like the past 8 or 9 years. And then next thing is like on the days I can't write a song, like I can't think of any melodies, I'll just play my guitar and like, okay, finally stumble into some cool little, cadence and like, oh, that would go well with this thing I wrote 2 years ago, and mix and match. And that's what I've been doing a lot recently, as well as coming up with new songs. And really just trying to find ways to write more songs.
Yeah. That's incredibly hard to do, though, is to take two separate thoughts written at two different points in your life and try to bring them together. That's fascinating that you can do that, because to me, that's incredibly difficult to do.
It's coming together.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm glad that the notebook's working out for you. I am a pen to paper writer. I write my best when I'm putting pen to actual paper. I have so many notes in my phone that I forget to go back and look at them. They might have been good songs. Yeah. I write so much on the phone when I'm traveling into work. I ride a bus to work, and so I'm always constantly writing. And sometimes I just forget to go back and I'm like, damn, that was kind of good. Why didn't I go back and think about that? And it's not being able to pick it up and flip through it and see it. For me, it's just like, I don't know. I neglect it when I put it in the phone, but I try to do as much as I can of both. When I was younger, I'd have just scraps of paper, in piles.
Yeah, I'm like that too.
And that gets so I'm trying to, for me personally, and where I am, I'm trying to put a little bit more order into my writing and like capture it in specific notebooks for specific periods of my life, so it's all together in that period. So I still do like the composition notebook. I think I have it here. So yeah, so this is kind of like what I work out of.
Nice.
This one was titled Album Number 2 because I started writing songs that will come out on the next iteration of what I do. So there's songs in here that I thought were good enough to not even good enough. This is like all those songs are in there. Like there's a song I played a few weeks ago called Whiskey When It Rains. That's in there. And notice there's no music to it. I just kind of maybe put the key up there, but I write it down to capture it because I don't know, but it's all here. And I know that this is all that work from this period of my life is going in this one. And when I run out, I'll move and go by the next one. But I still love these. These are like from grade school.
Yeah.
But that's my jam. That's my method is pen to paper, because I realized over time, over the last couple of years, I fail by putting all of these notes into my phone because I just forget, man.
It's the voice memo. So I do like voice memos of my guitar playing a lot of times too.
Yeah.
And those little things, because if you play enough, you'll stumble into something that sounds cool, and that's really where the mixing and matching comes in. Where I'm like, okay,
sure,
I got 10 good seconds of guitar right here, and 3 good words over here. Let's like find a meaning for that and like kind of build on it. And I think it's working out. But really, I'm just biding time to wait for that that one good song a year that just comes out completely ready to go, from divine
Yeah,
inspiration.
man. Well, I mean, I hope you keep at it. I mean, whatever I can do to help you, man. I would, advice, anything I can help you with, man, with that second one, because I know you've got some stuff online, but, building that tangible record is like the most beautiful and rewarding thing. I don't know about you, but for me, when I could hold it in my hands, I knew I was done. When the songs are just in a book, they're just a thought still. And for me, it was like I knew it was done the moment I heard it back. And it changes too when you get in the studio, man. Things change. It don't sound like it did when you first wrote it, but you're right, man. That memo, that has been a God saver for me in my writing process, because I'll tend to forget stuff, man. You'll write a lick on the guitar or a melody, totally forget to go back and remember what it is a week later.
Yeah.
And so that saved me a couple of times. There's songs that I've written that I would just forget, and if it wasn't for voice memo. So I use that. I use that frequently, more so than just the notes in my phone.
Sometimes it's almost my downfall that if I don't title the note, the memo exactly what I was doing, because I'll play like the weird keys or tunings, like I'll play like open D or open A, and I play something like, oh, that's super cool, and then like
but I can't figure out what key it's in. I
can't figure out for the life of me what I did there. But
like I've got a bunch of cool things in here. Some are titled my address, some are titled weirdly like December 26th. I don't know what that is. Some are titled, they're under my apartment building. There's a nail salon, and for whatever reason, sometimes when I do my voice memo, it tags, I guess, the place, and sometimes I get something nail salon often. But yeah, that's a great method, man. I use that a lot too. It's helpful. Well, we still have several listeners out there and people watching. Would you mind doing another song?
Yeah.
For us?
Do one more.
I think we got time for one more from you, and this has been Justin Golden. Tonight we're donating to the Pitts barbecue joint, and
please donate.
Yeah, please, and
support
thanks for those. Business. Please, thank you. I just want to thank everyone that already donated, because I already got a couple of that came through. So really, really appreciate the folks out there that have already donated. Do you know Erica Davis? I don't know. Oh, okay.
What's up, Julian?
Julian's throwing shout outs on your live stream.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, man, Justin, this has been great, man. Thank you for being a part of Pickin' with a Piner. For those of you that are just getting to know Justin, I strongly encourage you to go out and please listen to his music. Find it on. I think you got a Bandcamp page out there.
Bandcamp, I got everything. Anything.
Yeah, and it's on Spotify. You can find it on Spotify. I believe on iTunes. I've listened to it mostly on Spotify, but go out there and check out Justin's music. This is Justin Golden. He's going to do a song for us.
All right, this one's called Damage. My babe, give me enough to keep me humble, and I'm trying to do some damage the next time we take a tumble. Sweet girl, I'll have you running for the hills. The next time you let me in, I'm going in for the kill. My babe, give me enough to keep me humble, and I'm trying to do some damage the next time we take a tumble. Girl, you really got a hold on me. You got the devil in your head. Give me everything I need. My babe, and I'm trying to do some damage. The next time we take a tumble, my babe give me enough to keep me humble, and I'm trying to do some damage. The next time we take a tumble, yeah, girl, I got a pencil full of lead, and I'ma write you a long letter and give you everything I have. My babe give me enough to keep me humble, and I'm trying to do some damage. Next time we take a tumble, my babe give me enough to keep me humble, and I'm trying to do some damage.
Right on, man. Thank you for sharing that one. Julian asked if you would play some Creed. We don't play Creed or Nickelback on this show. Julian, sorry.
Sorry about that, brother.
There are other. Actually, Nickelback had a live stream. You can go check that out. They're playing Nirvana. Sounds really good. But anyway, tonight we're celebrating Justin, and Justin's been telling us a lot about his background and his songwriting process, where he grew up, how he got into blues music, and man, you sing and you just got a. I wasn't lying when I said you got a voice like molasses, man. It's just smooth and sweet, and it sounds really, really wonderful. And I know people are enjoying it out there in the streaming world. And so I appreciate you taking the night and being a part of this live stream, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is awesome. Good to connect with you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know, man. The reason why I did this is because I was just like selfishly wanting to talk to people that I know in the music scene, and often we play shows and we don't get to spend as much time when you play a show with the other band you're playing with, and I just thought this would be a cool opportunity to connect with you and other musicians, but then also have the people out there in the streaming world connect with us, because I do think people are interested in how you do what you do, and understanding where you come from and that sort of thing. So thank you for being honest and sharing with everybody all the stuff that you did tonight. I really appreciate it. And then those beautiful songs, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for having me.
This Pickin with a Piner. I've got a couple of updates for everybody. I will not be doing a stream next week. We have a holiday weekend coming up. I'm not doing a stream next week, but I want to give you a heads up about some of the great, talented musicians that are going to be coming up on Pickin with a Piner. We will have a very talented bluegrass mandolin picker named Jared Poole. Jared will be on an episode coming up. I got to lock in a date with him, but he's going to be coming up. There's two really wonderful songwriters from the state of North Carolina, good friends of mine. Mr. Sam Foster of a band called Whiskey Foxtrot is going to be on an episode of Pickin with a Piner, and his good friend, who's also a wonderful songwriter in North Carolina, named Ryan Johnson. So Sam and Ryan are going to be on in a couple weeks, which they're very talented alt country folk sort of singers. Then I'm going to have my guitar player in my band, who's also a songwriter himself, Mr. Jordan Tarrant. Jordan Tarrant has a band called Tarrant, and when he's not shredding in my band on guitar, he has his own deal. So we're going to get him on to play some tunes in the weeks to come. And then I'm going to have my good buddy comedian Benji Saunders back on. Benji's this is a big month for him. He's getting married, and we want to give a shout out to Benji to him and his bride. And but Benji's going to join me, and I'm going to get him to be on with a good friend of his, singer and writer Matt Browning of the band The Floorboards is going to be on. So those are some people that are going to be coming up in the weeks to come on Pickin with a Piner. And thank you again for all y'all listening in and tuning in to episode 7. It's been wonderful. And thank you, Justin, for being a part of it. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, if you have it in your heart, please donate to the Pitts Barbecue. Send me a Venmo tip or a PayPal tip, and I'm going to make sure that tonight's tips, and Justin and I agreed to this before we did it, all those things are going to, all the donations are going to go towards that, little spot in the south side of Richmond. It's a wonderful barbecue spot. So we're going to donate to them tonight. They're still battling the effects of Corona on their business. So I want to help them out as a local business there in Richmond. So Justin, man, you're a wonderful blues picker. I hope you get tons of new followers and likes on Facebook from all this. Thanks for sharing your tunes. Thanks for sharing your stories. I really, really grateful to have you, man.
Yeah,
I miss
thanks.
seeing you around.
Hopefully we'll see each other soon, man.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been episode 7 of Pickin' with a Piner. Thanks, y'all. I hope y'all have a good evening and the rest of the week. Take care. I won't see you next week. I'll see you the following. Have a good night.